MeTV 24 Meridian proudly presents your favorite way to start the day. Welcome to Mornings with Scotty Ray and Candace.
And it is so hard to realize it's Friday.
I know. The week is just, it's been a crazy week.
Candace has already told me she plans on sleeping until 12:30, so do not call her tomorrow.
You know, I'll probably be up in the middle of the night if the weather's not going to be so cooperative with
You're
us.
more than welcome to come on down and hang out. Yeah. We'll have coffee, and if you can get some donuts, we'll be set.
Well, I'll probably be down at my mother's if it gets too bad. She has a storm shelter.
Well, and now that you brought that up, let's go ahead and talk about this. There is a chance of severe weather. Mm-hmm. We will go live, and if you're watching from television, find YouTube and or Scotty Ray's Weather on Facebook. Either way, yes. You can get us there or on Twitter. We'll go live on all three of those places. Here's the map of what the National Weather Service is telling us of what to expect overnight and into the morning. Now, we'll look at this from 2 a.m. till 7 a.m. We'll take in portions of Scott County, a little bit of that northwest corner here of Newton County, and then into Philadelphia area right here. That's going to get downtown Philadelphia and most of Louisville till about 7 a.m. The Meridian area, the threat east of Newton is going to be from 6 a.m. until 11 a.m. tomorrow. So early morning hours, start paying attention. Now, there's three different categories. This is the very bad area, the Mississippi Delta on up to Indiana. Nashville, for all the folks that watch us from Murfreesboro and those areas, it's going to be real bad there, really bad. We've got a 2 here taking in the Mississippi Delta, and then our area is basically a 3. It means we can get some thunderstorms. There is a chance, don't ever want to say there's not going to be a tornado, but most likely will be to the northwest of us, but always a chance it could happen.
Right. You know, when just the weather going from cold to hot, I mean, because it's muggy out there right now. It's warm.
Now that Candace brought that up, that makes me say something else. Let's just look at what you just said here. Again, let's show this map of just how bad it is in the South before we look at the breakdown. Y'all look at this. That is Mississippi, dead in the middle of that, Tennessee. Yeah. And this is the area where this storm is coming tonight. Basically, this entire area there has got that little circle around it. It's bad. So let's look at what that temperature is going to do. 77 today. We get a 100% chance of rain tonight into tomorrow, and we'll go from 77 degrees to 58 degrees on Sunday. And if you don't think that won't make you sick.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't get out in it if I didn't have to.
No, 67 tonight. Yeah. And then look at that low tomorrow night, 37 degrees. Now, I've always heard, I've been around doctors that say, oh, the weather really doesn't, that temperature change. Yeah, it does. I don't care what y'all say.
In 96, I had my first child. It was like...
Y'all didn't video that or nothing, did you?
we do have video,
Did you make your husband come in and watch that? Because y'all, we got to have a whole subject about that one day.
Husbands are always, usually, unless they just... can't stomach it. They're usually in there.
I like to feign it.
But the weather, the weather around that time, it was like tornadic weather the day that I had her. And then like the next day I left the hospital because then it was like, have your baby, you going home. But anyway, the next day I went home and it was like 30 something degrees. And then the next day is when the ice storm hit. So, I mean, it can happen just like that.
It is.
You know.
And again, crazy. Men folk have no business up in no delivery room. I don't care who you are, you don't belong in there.
Oh, my goodness.
Things in there that you can't never erase from your mind.
I had my daughters in there when I had Alden. My 2 girls they were my coaches next to me. Seriously, like they were. And my youngest daughter was like, I'm never having a child.
There's a reason that men do not have children because we couldn't do it.
Yeah, well. I don't think you could either.
I know I could. I done witnessed all that, and I am not very good at that type of pain. Yeah. I can take the old heart attacks, but a cold and a paper cut. Oh my gosh!
Well, it's all worth it, though. I mean, you know, when you hold your baby, you're just like all the pain.
Seriously, I've heard women say that 20 minutes later, it was well worth it.
It was. I mean, and it is. So anybody that's expecting your child, and it's not going to be the best feeling experience, but right after you're going to.
It's going to be a bad child when the mother goes, that wasn't worth it. You'll see their name in lights somewhere one day.
I don't think they'll be. I don't know. Maybe they will be. I don't know. I can't imagine.
But most mothers do agree with you on that statement that whatever the pain was at that given moment, it was well worth it. And I've seen men called ugly names during that time too. Shame.
I know one girl that like actually hit her husband.
Really?
Yeah, hit him.
That was just downright ugly.
Yeah, that was. I have to agree with that. That was kind of ugly.
We have to say congratulations to a local group, to the Clarkdale. Let's go out to Clarkdale and pull this up where everybody can see this. This is the district champs, 21, 22 district champs there. And Stephanie Reed, I think her second year teaching of coaching that. So congratulations, y'all. That is a big deal to win.
Yes, a girl that I work with, her daughter is on that billboard.
Oh, really?
Yes, Laurel Joyner.
Congrats.
Right there, holding the round 2 bound.
Oh.
In the middle, right there. Yes, congratulations to you.
If one of your babies was on there, congrats. I know Clarkdale's very competitive. West Lauderdale gets really competitive when it comes to that baseball as well.
Yeah.
So
it is a competitive thing, all these sports, you know.
And
Some people get a little too overboard, though, I think, with it, but that's just my opinion.
If your team wins, send us a picture. We'll be glad to share that as well. It's always good to see people make it and do well. We're proud of you.
Oh, yeah, we are. Proud of everybody.
So what you got planned for the weekend?
I don't have like major plans. I would love to try to get some Christmas shopping done because I have done hardly any. I mean, every time I've had a spare day, it's been filled with something, or either my child's been sick or something. So,
right.
I'm kind of leaning more towards everybody's getting money.
Just here.
Really seriously. I mean, we do that anyway, but I usually try to get everybody 1 or 2 things to unwrap under the tree because I just love. I like that.
Well, if you take a $100 bill and rip it in 6 places, then put it in 6 different envelopes.
Yeah, I think I might hide them. I would have to write it down where I hid it because I'd forget 5 minutes later. But that'd be kind of neat to hide your money and you have to find it like a scavenger.
Says Mr. over here who put up a shop light in his shop somewhere on a shelf and can't locate it.
Oh, you don't know where your shop light's at?
Somebody gave me one and I put it on. I thought, we'll put this here because I'll use that later. And I ain't seen it since.
Look, seriously, I mean, my mind, I feel like it's kind of failing me at times. I can't remember little things. I can't remember where I put things.
It's a habit. Who out there in television land or on the internet this morning is watching television? You get up to go get a snack at the refrigerator and you get it and you sit back down on the couch and you go, I wonder what I was watching.
Yeah.
I have done that so many times.
Well, I won't finish a task. Like I'll go and start something, like I'll start to do the laundry. Like I'll open up the lid and, start sorting stuff, and then I'll walk out of the room to go do something else, and like 2 hours later, I come back and I go, "Oh, I was doing laundry." I don't even remember. I mean, I got too much on my mind.
It does happen.
That's called spread too thin and having too much on your plate.
Denise said she stopped by and got one of the Bell South cookbooks and said that they'll be doing it again today. If you're wanting one, this is it. They'll be selling them till 4:30 this afternoon. So if you want one, go grab you one.
Yes, it's the last day, and it's a very good gift. I've said that many times, but it really is. Somebody likes to cook or beginning to cook,
right?
And, or wanting to learn to cook.
If they don't know nothing,
it's great.
Share a little love with them.
Yeah.
And if you'd like to put a little ho 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 into your weekend, we've got 2 great places for you to go to get that Christmas cheer. We've got 2 parades that I'm aware of. Now, y'all may be watching and know more. If so, let us know so we can share it. But as we go to the drawing board, we still have down here on the bottom Enterprise at 6 p.m. tomorrow night.
That's right. And let's see, we have Collinsville also, right?
You're right. Let's pull that up.
I hope the weather does hold off.
It should be by that late in the day. We should be clear of everything. It should be finishing up by lunch, all the bad weather.
Good.
So that's what you got in stock. But put your Christmas float inside a shed somewhere because we got some strong winds coming.
Yeah. Get your jackets ready too, because I don't know around about what time the temperature is going to start dropping, but it's supposed to be 37 for the low. So I would imagine it will be cool. Yeah.
Just always carry your little buddy heater with you, no matter where you go.
Those are good. That's another good gift.
The gift that keeps on giving. And always, when you see butane bottles, grab an extra 2 because you never know when you can't locate more of them.
They have those at the farm supply. Right?
They do. Drop in and see them. They I am like the coldest natured person that you will ever run. It's good that my kids never played soccer
I'm pretty cold-natured myself. Like, my hands and feet stay freezing cold all the time. Everybody else will be burning up in the house.
You're not one of those women like at 2 a.m. that reaches over with that frozen cold hand that feels like it's been in a freezer and touches a back.
Yeah, I'm that person. But now I will say this past week, I don't know, I guess I was going through these like hot flash things.
Were you?
I was like freezing Kurt out in the house. I looked one time, and this is no lie, he had on a jacket and a toboggan in the house.
Yep.
And he was sitting over there like this.
It's bad, and that has happened in our house. My son won't come home from college because of that.
Really?
I mean, it's she'll get it, but it goes through flashes, as you say. Sometimes it'll be 38 degrees in the bedroom. Other times it's 110. You're going, what is going on? But and I feel for ladies on that. I guess it's like giving birth. Lord have mercy, nobody understands it.
It's awful when you can't get your temperatures like regulated.
Men don't have those, but we got other issues I'm sure that people turn to and go, you people.
Yeah.
That does happen. Let's have a couple of good mornings of some folks that I see up and stirring there.
Yes. Arlene Chew, good morning to you. Debbie Molds, good morning. And Patsy Gilbert, good morning.
Jeremiah is up today. Also, is that Cheryl Clark? She said that she has those nature moods also. Mm-hmm. Long Creek joins us. Kim Carmichael, how are you doing out there? Arlene Chew agreed with you on something there. Chris Reed said, my favorite TV superstars giving the volleyball girls props.
Yes.
Thanks much. They did do great, Chris.
Yes, they did.
Oh, Chris is.
I wish we'd have had volleyball back when we were in school. That would have been fun.
Never tried that.
We just didn't have all the options they have now.
Tried tennis one time in my life, and I was swinging and missed. And I thought, yeah, this isn't for me.
Yeah. I've tried, well, I can't say as an adult I've tried tennis. I might be good at it as an adult, but like a kid, I slammed it over the fence. Tennis now. Not over the net, over the fence.
There you go. Yeah. Your stout arm on her.
Yeah.
They had started archery at Northeast High School when I was in 7th grade. I remember that. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
It was fun. Coach Etheridge. And enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm. I think we had softball, cheerleading, and basketball. That was the 3 things we had for girls.
That summed it up. Now things have just gone way different across the nation of different sports that are off. They'll have video gaming in school before it's over. Y'all know it, and I know it.
I can't imagine, though, when we were in high school, having like guys compete in the girls sports or girls compete in the guys sports. I can't imagine.
It's just a different way of life.
It's a different world. Different world.
Coming up, we're going to tell you all the doings that happened. We had some accidents yesterday and loss of life did happen in our community. We'll talk about that in a moment. All the wrecks and things that happened and things that went on that you need to know about. So don't go away. We're going to tell you all that, the local news and headlines from our area. As we turn to our friends at Snowden and Company, they're about the best there is when it comes to purchasing a home. When you sit down and you make that decision, okay, I'm going to buy something, or, well, it's time to sell and us to move on. These are the folks that you need to talk to. Amanda, her staff, Donna, Leslie, they've won all these awards of people that trust them. They've been in our community for a long, long time. Your dream home, if you're looking for that, 453-3937, or go to online, snowdenrealestate.com, kind of browse around. You can see the homes that they're offered there. And they're professionals at this. They'll do so much to list your home, quality photos and things that need to be done to make it inviting. Of course, they handle Lauderdale, Kemper, Newton, Neshoba, Clark counties. As we step over, and they've just added the Jackson, Mississippi areas as well. No matter the size, what small, how big, if you're looking for a double wide with land, they've got those also.
That's right.
If it can be bought and you live in it, well, Snowden Real Estate has that for you. Again, 453-3937, or better yet, drop in and visit with them. You can see them in Poplar Springs there. Designated seller, they're all of that. Certified real estate negotiating expert, and you'll find out why after you talk to them for a few moments. See them today. They'll help you out.
I've lived in Mississippi my entire life. My earliest memories are right here in Jackson. This used to be my dad's clothing store. I worked here growing up. And this is my first office right out of law school. I know this area, these roads, these people. The people of Mississippi are my people. So when someone from here comes to me for help, I take that personally. Always have and always will. One call, that's all.
The Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville are passing along these great savings. Fresh tomatoes, 4-pound pack, $1.79. Star-Kissed tuna, 79 cents for a 5-ounce can. Fresh Cuties, a 3-pound bag, only $6.99. 12-pack Coca-Cola products, 2 for $10. Kraft Mac and Cheese, 7.25 ounce, only $1. And certified Angus beef T-bone steak family pack, $9.99 a pound.
And we're down home, down the street, Piggly Wiggly.
And welcome back with Scotty Ray and Candace on a Friday morning. Already 70. Anybody hear that?
I know. It's muggy.
It is.
Muggy.
This morning, as you were waking up, we had 2 wrecks that happened right at daylight. As we go to, let's pull up this picture and show this of where this happened this morning. This was on Poplar Springs Drive, where it just south of where Old Country Club Drive is, where you turn up to go to where Commercial Bank is on 39. The wreck happened about right here. This is Highway 39 here, Old Country Club. As you come in, right there is where the accident happened. It was a single car accident that bumped into a light pole. I was told that there were injuries involved. I haven't gotten a report. We went on air, so I hadn't gotten the full responses from that. Also, a scare on I-59 this morning as we turn to this. Mile marker 144, the southbound lane, a car rolled over. Serious injuries involved with that also. Mississippi Highway Patrol was on top of this and responded to it. And again, that's that early morning. Roads were still a little damp and caused these accidents. So
it's very dangerous out there this morning as far as the roads being slick.
Yeah. Now, let's move to the next thing that happened. We've lost 2 lives yesterday afternoon. I started getting reports going, what is going on I-20? There's something I can't see. And as we find out, as we dug into this last night, there was a wreck right there at the Rose Mobile Home exit off of I-20. It was a 2-car accident, and 1 person did die on the scene. Another was transported to the hospital. And from all indications of when they were taken to the hospital, were not doing very well. Yeah. We pass along condolences to the family of those who lost their lives in that wreck. Tragedy, just bad.
Yes.
It didn't end there. We also had another wreck yesterday afternoon where another life was lost. As we go up to right here is how this happened, and this is close to how it looked yesterday afternoon. A log truck involving an SUV was involved in a wreck, and as we go through this, this was the scene here last night as we got a few pictures of what went on. Here's the 18-wheeler that was involved. It was an SUV that turned in front of this vehicle to come across the State Boulevard extension. Here's the turn right here where you go.
Yeah, that's a bad spot.
It is.
It really is. I mean, trying to clear your way. Is that where it was?
Is exactly. And here's kind of how it looked in the beginning as we look at this. The SUV was thrown from the roadway. It was a lady that was driving the vehicle. She was alive when the wreck happened. She was transported to the hospital, and she did die later. Tragedy. We hate to say these things.
Horrible. But that is a very dangerous spot there, and also when people are trying to cross from one side of the highway to the other in front of that Dollar General.
Yes.
You know, that's a bad spot too, especially at night, because it's kind of hard to determine
headlights
how close,
fake you.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to determine how close people actually are coming towards you. And so a lot of people will try to beat the traffic and get out.
Chandler Road is another one on Highway 19 that is bad.
Right.
And this always is one of those things that gets under my oomph. As you're there, you finally make it to the medium to turn left to go, and then the person across the highway runs up beside you, and then there's 2 to 3 cars there.
Yeah.
You should never do that because you cannot see then to turn. But how many times has that happened to you with people impatient?
Yeah, it
Wrecks
does
happen
happen
because of it.
I think people probably think, oh, well, they're going to go on, and I'm going to go on across, you know. But sometimes they don't, you know, they have to wait. So it is better to be safe than sorry.
It is with my life because I kind of value that up there pretty high, and I think most everybody else does. Now, as we look back on things, there was a lot went on in Meridian, Mississippi, and the surrounding areas yesterday afternoon. I'm trying to scroll down. This is the scene, and let me pull this picture up here. This happened yesterday. This is Winn-Dixie down here. This is the gas station up the road there. It was reported that 3 gentlemen walked in the store. One entered by himself. He goes back toward the Coca-Cola machines or wherever it was in the store. 2 other gentlemen come in and start accusing him of something. I wasn't there. I don't know. This is secondhand. But at that point, they pulled out a pistol and pistol whipped him. They didn't shoot him. They beat him with the pistol. They fled. They were looking to him. There were two black males, one wearing a blue hoodie and one wearing a black hoodie. To my knowledge, they have not been caught this morning, but being pistol whooped is not good. Very painful. We hope the man recovers. Yes. Again, we don't know what sparked this, but all three apparently did know each other. He did not tell anything to police, said that he didn't know anything. And it makes you wonder, do you tell things like that, or do people come after you later?
Right. I guess, some people could be in fear.
And you go, yeah, I don't know nothing. I ain't seen nothing, I ain't heard nothing.
Yeah.
That happens. So just to be aware of what went on in that situation yesterday. Now,
lots going on.
Yeah, that was not the end of it. As we would hear, I started getting calls of, 14th Street up by the hospitals down there, past that is all blocked off. Now let's go to the scene of that and look what happened yesterday as we pull up pictures of this. This is 14th Street. Down past this is the total pain clinic. This, of course, here in front of Alpha. This was blocked off in a home right in this area here. Had reports that deputies had shown up to investigate something from earlier.
Right.
Upon pulling up in the yard, someone had a rifle and ran inside the house. So the deputy called it in. Multiple law agencies were called in. The road was blocked off. At a later point, after 45 minutes to an hour, the mother of who lived there showed up and talked everybody out. Arrests were made. Now, I'm not sure what's happened. I hadn't clarified if the charges stuck or whatever, but in the end, an arrest was made. We would find out late last night, 8 o'clock or so, the gunfire would break out in that same neighborhood at that same home, more or less a drive-by. They could have walked by, they could have drove by, but the house was hit with gunfire at that same address that the Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department was at.
Okay.
So that's a mouthful. I don't know if everybody got all of that.
Yeah. So we don't know if somebody returned. From
who made who mad, but it was reported late last night that gunfire came out at that same location last night. Now, yesterday morning with everything going on, we didn't mention this, and I got a report that this has happened several times. Out near Patrick Allen Companies, there was a wreck yesterday morning, and I got a report that there had been several wrecks in that area in the fog. So heads up if you're in that area when it's foggy out in Clarkdale. Be careful.
Yeah, definitely be careful when it's foggy. Last night was horrible. I had to run something. We went over to my daughter's to drop something off, and it was around close to 9 o'clock. You could not hardly see the road. It was so bad, and it moved in fast. So that could be the case again at night, with all this weather. Just muggy,
And right at dark 30, I started getting tons of calls, tons of inboxes. Okay, I'm backed up. I'm in traffic on the 39 on North Hill Street. What is going on? There was a wreck on the other side of where the gas station was, where the altercation happened with the pistol. A wreck happened. 3 cars were involved. The best I can tell, everybody's okay.
Towards the highway?
Toward Meridian on the other side. But it backed up traffic all the way across 39 onto the other side, and people couldn't see what was going on. They were going, what happened?
Right.
I did see some pictures of the car later, early this morning, that it was a Mustang and another car and possibly one more, but it held up traffic. But I think all involved were okay. That is the good news out of that. But there were traffic delays in that.
Just be extra careful, like at intersections. It just seems like a lot of this stuff's happening at intersections, or
it does,
or where you veer onto the highway or the interstate, or just different things. I wonder, have we had any more information about the man who was the hit and run?
No,
okay.
They're still looking possibly a pickup truck.
Okay.
They don't have specifics, but the Meridian Police Department, even they have put out on their page of if you were in that neighborhood, saw absolutely anything. Now, I did get a call yesterday afternoon of a gentleman that said, I was there at 5:45 getting on I-20 in front of IHOP. And he said that same gentleman ran in front of him, and he said, I almost hit him.
Oh, goodness.
So he had crossed several times I-20 that afternoon, and he goes, it was close. And then it would be just an hour later.
That's a good ways down from where the accident actually happened. That's scary, though. People take that chance all the time.
I'm not crossing it.
Yeah.
I will walk an extra mile before I cross an interstate.
Yeah. Take your vehicle. I mean,
well, not everybody has one. I think that's what the problem is there.
Well, yeah.
I may be speaking out of turn, but I think that's a lot of folks in that area don't have vehicles. and they're constantly here and there. And,
Right.
and I don't know if this gentleman was part of that. He could have just been going to get lunch, go back to the motel.
Right.
We don't know the details of him.
Hopefully, though, somebody will come forward, if they know that they've had something happen,
And I want to address this. I had somebody, they weren't, I don't guess, angry at me yesterday, but made several comments and asked me to take down a post. We've had, day before yesterday, we had someone lay in the middle of a road. And it was flat out lay in the road.
In a highway.
In a highway. And people get run over that way. Then we had the gentleman that got run over. I got a report yesterday of someone in the North Hills area that was, the way it came to me was they were lying in the road. That's all I got. So at that point, I'm going to put that out in case you're in that area to slow down. Right. Well, it ended up in the end, it was a nice lady that had fallen by the side of the road, and her neighbor was with her until they got there. But that's not how it got to me. And so I put out, at the best of my knowledge at that time, for safety, to slow down somebody who was in the road. I found out later, and I made a correction on that, and I hope everything is fine. And they said that people were being ugly to them about it. Things like that happen. But it was with best of intentions, I think, on all parties.
You can't help an accident if you were to fall into the edge of the road. But,
when I make posts, it's for the betterment of the community.
To make people aware.
Yeah.
But, I don't know who the individual was laying in the highway.
The other one.
If they were purposely laying in the highway. I mean, that's not just putting your own life in danger. That's putting everybody else trying to dodge you with traffic. I mean, that's
Now, I remember when I was about 15 years old, and this takes me way back, me and Jimmy Thomas. I think a lot of people know Jimmy from Kemper County. He and I were in Scuba, Mississippi. Who's ever been there?
Oh, yeah, me.
You know where the riding club is?
Yes.
There's a road right beside the riding club that goes around, and it goes back through the housing and comes back to downtown Scuba.
Yes.
Me and Jimmy Earl, about 11:30, was riding through there in his tan Toyota 88 model. He'd just loved it.
Yeah.
And we'd come up on this little poor laying in the road. So we get out, and we go over, and you don't know what to do. So we took a foot, and we just kind of shook him, and he didn't move. And I thought, this dude is dead laying up in the middle of the road. And so then we got down and shook him, and it turned out he was just heavily intoxicated and couldn't make it home.
Kind of passed out in the road?
In the middle of the road.
Goodness.
That can happen.
Yeah, it can. I've heard of that happening. Heard of people passing out in their vehicles.
Yes. Here locally, we had somebody, and I didn't report on this, just the other night that made it to a drive-in. And, they'd had a little too much to drink and couldn't even make their order.
Oh, goodness.
And passed out in line.
In the drive-thru.
Yeah. And they were given a ride somewhere.
I bet. Yeah.
Quickly. Those things happen in our area, just like everywhere else. We got some national news coming up that not everything is local. There's a lot of things going on in our country that, you need to know about.
There is. It is.
A ton of that. So we're going to get to that in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. Hang close, and we'll be right back with more comments and news and things. With, of course, this lovely lady to my... On TV, you're on the left. Actually, you're on my right.
Yeah.
That is so weird. It's like looking in a mirror.
It is weird. I know.
When they get on stage and they do that stage right and left,
when I'm trying to sometimes fix my look, I'm trying to fix my necklace or something. It's weird because it's the opposite. It is.
I don't understand any of that. But y'all be close. We'll be right back in a few moments with more information.
Sanders Gas, Sanders Air and Heat is your full-service propane supplier since 1946. We take pride in ensuring reliable, friendly service to our customers. We also provide safety tune-ups related to propane, air conditioning, and heating systems, keeping our community efficient and safe. I'm Chuck Sanders, and yes, we're local.
Rock House Gun and Pawn is open Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. Lots of different calibers and brands to choose from when it comes to hunting rifles. Whether you're looking for a new pump shotgun or an AR, the Rock House will have the gun that you need, with a huge selection of ammunition for just about any caliber that you may be looking for. Pistols, scopes, and a whole lot more. Plus a private lobby for your confidentiality when it comes to your pawns. Rock House Gun and Pawn, located at 5430 Highway 19 North Meridian.
And I might be a frequent customer there. I'm just saying I might go there a lot. Go and see my friends at Rock House. They got, if you're looking for ammunition, they got all kinds of things and guns. They'll take care of you. Really, really nice folks. And I'll tell you about them. They really give to the community. If you see raffles and things going on, they help out.
Yes, they do.
Candace, you ready to hold hands and go down to walk back in time and skip down the road and see what happened?
Yeah.
It was 1864. Who remembers this? It would end on this date, and the South would be devastated. Everything would be burned as we find that Sherman's march to the sea would end on this day. He didn't hold back. He burned everybody's everything. It would be a...
And that was in Gone with the Wind, right?
Sure was. That scene. I couldn't find anything else that Sherman didn't take any selfies, so I had to find the next best thing that I could to describe the moment back in history.
Right.
But the South was left in ashes.
Yeah, that was awful, I'm sure. Hopefully we never have a replay of that. But look, I would like to give an update on something.
Okay.
Somebody sent us a message, and I guess it would be correct, that the Enterprise Christmas Parade has been moved to Sunday,
Okay.
December the 12th, 6 p.m.
That's
I guess
good.
they're trying to just kind of make sure that the weather's not going to be an issue. So
That's great. So,
if there's any difference in that statement or anything, somebody just let us know. But just to let you know, they've moved it.
All
Enterprise
right.
Parade.
6, and that's moved to Sunday now.
Right.
All right, we'll do that. It was 1927. This would be the first time that they would utter the words, and it would go across the airways, and you still hear it to this day. The Grand Ole Opry went on air. Pretty neat little deal.
It is a neat place if you've never been there.
You've been there too?
Yes, I've been there, and I've been to the old, the old one and the new one. You know, I've been to both of them. This would be the old one.
Yeah, it's the Gaylord.
But
new one.
it's really neat. They've taken a round spot, like a circle in the floor, and cut it out and put it in the new one. Up from the old one, put it in the new one. So where everybody stood in the old Grand Ole Opry.
You know, at the time when they built the new one, it kind of fit because Opryland was there. Now Opryland is gone. It's just a mall surrounding that place, and it just doesn't have the same feeling that it used to.
Well, it was really neat. We got to tour like the dressing rooms of the old stars, and they have pictures of the older stars and everything up in there. You could just feel the nostalgia.
Yeah, you walk out the back door and you understand why Hank couldn't always make it to the stage because Tootsie's is so close.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of stars that frequented the bars that were in the alley right next to that.
Yeah, there's a lot of them too down through there.
What
You
is?
have to walk pretty much everywhere. You know, get ready to park in a parking garage and walk everywhere you go.
Who remembers this guy? He was born, and I didn't know this until I watched a movie not long ago, and his son was in it. I was like, oh my gosh, he's reincarnated. He looked just like him. Really? 1928, Dan Blocker was born on this date, and you would know him as Hoss. But they done a remake of that, one of those old westerns, and his son was in it. It was just so remarkable of how much he looked like his daddy.
Yeah.
Unreal.
That is neat when you can see stuff like that. Yeah.
Just kind of like Angela White and her kid. Like, whoa,
she
Emily.
Does look like her mama now.
Especially if you knew her when she was a young lady and we were all growing up. And like, that's you.
I never knew Angela. Like,
she's mean. I'm just going to tell you, that girl.
I went and saw her when she was in the Patsy Cline.
Don't play dodgeball with her, whatever you do. 1951, the guy that would grow up to steal the goat would be born. And you heard David Allan Coe sing about that later. Johnny Rodriguez was born on this date, riding my thumb to Mexico, and pass me by if you're only passing through. That was some of the hits that he had, but boy, he made a name for himself, and everybody liked Johnny Rodriguez. Then he made headlines of stealing the goat.
Goodness.
This gentleman that we bring up next had such a huge hit with his very first song, survived cancer, and then we would learn later that he passed away in 2014 from this. But who remembers the song Nobody Knows? Kevin Sharp was born on this date in 1970. Really good.
That was a
person.
good song, too.
Met him umpteen dozen years ago. 1996, you would wake up to find that Faron Young had passed away. He was really big in the 1950s. You remember the George Strait song, You Ain't Lovin' If You Ain't Livin'? He did it first. George Strait would re-record that later. Not a lot of folks know that, but his ashes were thrown in the water at Johnny Cash's house at his lake.
Okay.
That's where his ashes would be spread. 96 is getting to be so far away.
Yeah.
We brought up this the other day that the song was recorded, and it was right after that, before it even hit radio. It hadn't even been minted yet to tape yet, that we would find out that Otis Redding would pass away today in a plane crash in 1967.
So sad. So many lost in plane crashes.
It is.
Stuff like that.
Let's see some other things that, the first time that I saw Lex Luthor, and I go, who is that cat? It was the first time I'd ever seen Superman. 1978, this opened in theaters, and of course, this would be the Superman of the day. And when was it that Christopher got injured?
And how did that? Was it a horseback riding?
Horseback, you're right.
I can't remember, but I think there was a couple of Superman. Was it a couple made before he did?
I think
he was just the classic.
He was.
Superman look.
Him and Lois Lane.
Yeah.
He made him mad and he spun around the world and dug her back up out of that hole she fell in. Remember that? But 2005, we would wake up also to find that Richard Pryor, wouldn't make it through the night. Richard Pryor passed away on this date back in 2005. He did a lot of movies.
Yeah, he was funny, man.
He was. Only 65. I really thought that Richard had made it to an older age than that, but he lived hard.
What was the movie that he and Gene Wilder, was it Silver Street?
Yeah.
Wasn't he in that?
Yeah, with the train.
Yeah.
That was funny.
It was. They were a funny pair, you know.
And he has done so many other movies that were funny, and I can't name them. Yeah. But his stand-up comedy was just as funny. He was kind of like before Eddie Murphy came along and kind of paved the way for that.
Yeah. He was funny. He had some language going on. You know,
yeah, he did.
He was funny.
Not as bad as George Carlin. Yeah. That man.
I think Yellowstone kind of ranks on up there in the list.
That's a George Carlin show. He would fit right in with that.
Yeah.
Stir Crazy was another one Bill mentioned there that he was in. I'd forgotten about that one. Yes. Some of those. Let's see. How long is it till Christmas? Because I know everybody's sitting around going, oh my gosh, I got to buy this, I buy that. Let's pull up the chart here and just show you how long you've got.
14 days, 15 hours, and 23 minutes, 30 some odd seconds.
It's flying by as we speak. That makes it
14 days. That just kind of makes me happy. Well, I mean, I love Christmas time, and I hate to get all wrapped up about presents, you know.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of a
but you want to give to those you love.
Contradictory statement, and it wrapped up about presents. But anyway, I hate to make it all about stuff like that, though, because that's not what it's about. You know, it's about Jesus. You know?
Right. But you know, Alan Jackson sang about that. He said, "Tie a ribbon around yourself, ho ho ho."
Yeah,
that was a great song. Also, "I Only Want You for Christmas" was the name of that. And one of my all-time favorites, as you bring up Christmas songs, and you just don't hear it these days, but as a kid, it struck me. John Denver did it first. Alan Jackson would re-record it, and it was such a touching song. And I know you're going to go, why did you go there? But I have to.
What?
Please, Daddy, don't get drunk this Christmas.
Yeah.
I don't want to see my mama cry.
Yeah.
It was heartfelt. I felt that little kid's problems there. I see you're not taken away or blown away by my selection of country music.
No, I like country music.
Have you ever heard the song?
I probably have. You know,
He stumbled in the house and knocked down the mistletoe on my mama's tree. Oh, it's bad.
Goodness. As
we go down of things that are going on in our nation, we bring up this story here, and you almost have to put yourself in the place of the sheriff. Now, I'll tell you the ending to this story before you tell you what happened. He's lost his job. He has been sentenced to, I think it's 5 years probation, and he will probably never be a sheriff again in his life. But what he did, I have to give him kudos and say I probably would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
A gentleman runs into the sheriff's office. He's standing there and says, "I've just killed my daughter. I've drowned her." Tells him where it is, and the sheriff takes off with deputies. They run. He jumps in the pond, saves the girl, gives her mouth-to-mouth, and she lives. He goes back to the police station, the guy's there, and he whooped him. He did that as a parent. I understand the emotion of where this happened in Missouri.
Yeah.
And he lost it there he became an ordinary citizen for a brief moment and stepped out on a limb, and he will never be a sheriff again, but due to this. But as a father, he did what came natural.
Yeah, I know. I mean, a lot of people that would have probably done the same thing.
Now, he didn't kill the guy. He just whooped him. He gave him a couple licks there, and of course, the law is the law. Sad City was in Missouri is where that happened at. But I thought I would, Greenwood, Missouri, if you want to Google that and look up that story. It's just one of those that it tugs at your heart because a child. How could
Right.
somebody do that?
People are that evil, though. I mean, they are that evil.
Kentucky, on another note, this is a sheriff that probably will never be another sheriff again. This one's wrong. He was in he also done as a part-time basketball coach. Let me see if I can find the story, because I put it at the end, but it kind of fits with what we're talking about. I may not can put my hands on it this time. But he's an assistant basketball coach and sheriff because he likes basketball. He ends up hitting one of the players, and we're talking a minor. He was arrested by his deputies and hauled off. He will most likely not be sheriff very long. He has lost his job as of when we went on as assistant coach at the school. Yeah. He's out on that. Most likely.
You don't need to lay your hands on them.
No.
The students, for sure.
Here it is right there. It's even filmed, punching, and it was a girl on top of it. They were fighting, and then he hit one of them. You can't do that.
Right.
That's a shame, shame, shame. Everybody knows your name now. That's some of the headlines that are taking place this morning. We got more coming up, so don't go anywhere. We're going to share some more of these of what's going across our nation today, and maybe some of these will touch base with you, and it'll make you go, huh, I agree we are. That makes me mad, or it makes you smile. Hang close. We'll tell you more about that as we head out to see our friend Chet. And I say our friend, he is. He's everybody's friend when it comes to your car if you've been taken advantage of by a deer.
Yeah. Because they are out and about.
Yes, they are. And they like to prance down the side of them, break off mirrors and dent hoods and do all types of things. And that's where Chet steps in to put it back like it was. Right. You can call them at 737-2961 or drive on out. Let them take a look at it. They can give you an estimate there. They'll look at your car, handle it very quickly there, take care of it, no matter what the dent is, or maybe all these wrecks from these slick roads. You slid into somebody's bumped the rear end.
Right.
Whatever it is, see Chet. They'll put it back together the way it was, including aluminum beds. It's pretty simple. 9888 Highway 495 is where you'll find them. That's the paint booth where all the magic happens. Again, they'll put it back to the way it was. They'll process the insurance work, take the guesswork out of it for you, and have it back to you in a very timely manner.
That's right.
Chet's Paint and Body.
That's right. They're very dependable. I've used them several times. They'll fix you up right.
Let's just go ahead and tell everybody you got a file out there.
I probably do have a file. I've hit like 2 or 3 deer,
numerous
to fix my
objects.
vehicle. Yeah, I've hit a blue garbage can. Not my fault. Twice. Not my fault.
Either time. See Chet. He'll put it back to the way it was. Quality, and, well, he sticks by his word. That's who you need to see. Chet's Paint and Body.
I'm JC from Starkville, Mississippi, and it took one call, and that was all. I called my Mississippi attorney, Richard Schwartz, and he got me $200,000.
If you need me, Mississippi, remember, one call, that's all.
She was just telling me those garbage cans that you stick out in the road. It's not her fault.
I come very close the other day because I don't know if it's when the people who dump the garbage into the truck, they just don't. But I know ours will be hanging out in the road. It's like they just toss them over there. So just be aware because, those things will jump out of nowhere.
Especially if the wind's blowing. I've seen garbage can, and it's too late to slow down then.
But really, the 2 times I hit one, they were in the road, partly.
And she's got documentation.
Yeah.
Do you actually, you probably need to get you one of those, just to prove the curve, a dash cam, so you can prove court. It wasn't my fault.
Look, nowadays, it would benefit everybody to have one.
It does.
Seriously.
I've even seen them where people put them in the back window also for people that get a little close.
Yeah.
They've got cars now coming out that has the side ones. What they haven't done is, I don't think from the factory have them that record all the time to where you can just, that's coming.
I know the on a different note, as far as cameras go, those Ring doorbell things or the Ring cameras, that people. I had a client yesterday that had one. Somebody come up to her back door and it was notified and she could watch the video. And they have it too where you can talk and go, "What are you doing?" That would freak me out.
It would.
I've seen video of people getting it's scaring them to death, like a UPS person delivering something or somebody sneaking up to a door, fixing to break in, and then somebody speaks to them, and it deters them.
I remember
Those are a
talking
good thing to have, though.
to a game warden back in the 90s when the cameras that you put out in the woods first. He said, I stared at it. He goes, they had 200 pictures of me because I was trying to figure out what it was. As we go to Christmas parades and things, it's a big deal to win first place prize in your Christmas parade. I always enjoyed it. It's competitive. Try to outdo somebody else. I just dropped my ink pen. It's going to be okay. But what happens when you win and everybody on your team is excited because you've done such a good job, and then they call you back and go, nah, you can't have that because we just figured out what you did. Yeah. Well, this happened in Yorktown. Is where it went down, where a boat, maybe you've heard this by now. It had the letters FJB, Let's Go Brandon on it. It was a boat, kind of like Christmas on the River.
I can't imagine somebody not knowing what that phrase means by now. You know,
yeah. I didn't know what that first part of that meant for the longest, and then it hit me, and I was like, oof.
Yeah.
Their first place prize was promptly taken away from them for being, ugly. And they did no longer win the Christmas parade. Let me see here. Here's a picture of the boat. And that's what it looked like. They won first place prize with that. It was quickly taken away after they figured out the old meaning there.
Right.
So they had fun for a little while. It's over now. Somebody else takes away that first place prize.
Yeah. Become a popular phrase.
Yeah. You brought up the doorbell ring thing. Was it Wednesday that we had the trouble nationwide with Amazon where it went down?
Yeah.
If you rely on that in bigger cities, I think people do more of that because of Wi-Fi and those things. Internet is a little bit more stable. On the rural route, we all know that it has a tendency to go out. But there were tons of Americans that were locked out of their house that couldn't get in there because it's all on push button on their phone to get in. Their air conditioner, their lights are all controlled by this. And they were shut down and malfunctioned. Again,
I know I had to unplug mine to reset it, my Alexa.
And we've brought this up before of how do you cripple the United States? Turn off the power. There's bad people that know that also out there.
I think we just depend. I mean, we're all guilty of it. We just depend on technology way too much, you know. At some point, I mean, I think it'll come back to bite us.
It's integrated in my life. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for it.
Yeah.
Jackson, Mississippi, they're all upset this morning. They don't know who done it, but somebody has done it, and they've contacted the newspaper. Of course, we've all heard of the Clarion Ledger. In a neighborhood in South Jackson, somebody has been dumping unused Clarion Ledger papers by the tons, backing up the pallets at the time and dumping them. Maybe it's a company that I would think that you would recycle newspapers, though. I don't know that. But the guy says, I don't want
to throw them away.
Yeah. The guy said, I don't want it in my neighborhood. Y'all come get it. They've yet to return the gentleman's phone call. But that's making headlines this morning out of Jackson, Mississippi.
Do they have a competitive newspaper?
I don't think so.
You might be going and dumping them.
I don't think there is a such thing as a competitive newspaper anymore.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, technology, that's a thing of the past.
Yeah. Most people look it up on their phone or their iPad.
Right.
Computers.
Do you remember this lady here?
Yes, I do.
This is the Tour de France.
She caused an accident.
She did.
Yeah.
I know nothing about bicycle racing, but that's a pretty big one, the Tour de France. And she holds that sign, and it caused a horrific bicycle wreck.
Right. Somebody had to dodge it. It was in their way, and then it just caused a domino effect.
When she done the right thing, she just kind of blended back in the crowd. And, nobody know me. And they done an extensive search, and they finally found her. And now it has been announced what they're going to do to her. I think it equals out, in their terms, about $1,500 our money. She's been fined for doing that. Yeah. So whenever they hold this Tour de France again, I'm sure that they will have people that watch for signs.
They'll be watching for her, for sure.
Yeah. She's probably
banned.
She's not going to be able to come back to that.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that be embarrassing to be all over the news worldwide?
Well, I think she probably just intended on popping out there for a little picture.
Yeah.
You know.
Next thing you know, you're on milk cartons everywhere. How embarrassing. We're also finding out that the shooting that took place at the school in Missouri, lawsuits now are starting to come out. And you go, well, why is there a lawsuit? Parents are suing because they said the school had every indication that there was problems and they'd done nothing. Remember the drawing of him?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nasty. He'd posted on Facebook guns that he was going to do something. And even the meeting they had hours before he killed everyone. So parents, and I've seen two different headlines on this of how much it will be. One says $100 million, the other says $200 million, but it's a class action as they go after that school system. I'm not sure I fully understand how the law works, how you can actually sue a school, but it does happen every day.
Is it the actual school or the
school system?
Yeah.
And, of course, they carry insurance on all of that. I bring this next story up. Do you remember the lady in the Georgia shooting where the young man, the three people were found guilty of killing the young man for Georgia?
Yes.
They called the DA when it happened and said, look, this is what we done. What do we do? Well, she kind of prolonged things there for a little while and kept them from getting arrested for 2 to 3 months. She was charged, and she now faces 5 years in prison for her part of that.
Right.
Which brings us to this next story of this Jussie, Jussie Smollett. Do y'all remember the DA from there, Kim Foxx?
Oh yeah, she's a pretty outspoken DA.
She dropped all charges against him. Remember that?
Yeah.
The case went cold. It disappeared. What's going to happen to her? He was just found guilty.
There
finally
needs to be something happen to her. I mean, it really does. If it was good enough for the lady in Georgia, it should be good enough for her.
Right. She tampered with an ongoing case because it was obvious that he was guilty, and she didn't want it to. It had a lot to do with the rumor mill, and again, this is rumor mill, of her having high-profile people call her and say, make this go away because he's our friend. Even Joe Biden, if you go back, there's many, many examples on the internet of him in text and tweets going how horrible it was for this to happen and jumped and blamed everybody in the United States.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of people that stood behind him and upheld him, you know. I want to say Kim Kardashian maybe was one of them. There was a lot of stars that were, you know. But people, it's just so, people are so quick now to jump on that bandwagon and support people saying stuff like this when you don't even really take the time. Nobody has at the time taken time to look into it, make sure that it's the truth. But I think he should, I mean, I'm glad they convicted him. Right.
And I think it's time we start looking at Kim now.
Yeah. She needs to get reprimanded just like anybody else would.
I had to dig to find anything on her because that's not even being put into the national limelight anywhere. But that is a question that I think most Americans want to know. As we go to this, finally, last night, Don Lemon from CNN finally steps up and says that Jussie was guilty and that he finally done the right thing. I'm glad that he did take that step. He didn't in the beginning, but he did now admit that. One more thing before we go to a commercial break. This is getting nastier and nastier.
Yeah.
And I'll let you say his name there.
Well, Josh Duggar, 33 years old, you know, that has been found to be guilty, right?
Yep. He faces 40 years up in the big house now for what he done. This started way, way long ago when he more or less molested his sisters. This went on. They have found all of this stuff on his computer of children, and I mean children.
Little infant was one of the things.
So we'll wait to find out what will actually happen to him, how many years he will get. The man has 7 children. 7 children. So that's where we are with the headlines with that story. More coming up with Scotty Ray and Candace as we move along on a Friday morning. How this morning is getting along and getting away from us. So we got that on the way. If you need gas today, this weekend, wherever it is, make sure to drop in and see our friends at Maples Gas. They've got 4 locations scattered across town to bring you the lowest prices that are available in gas. They've got a new promotion that is getting ready to kick off. We'll be telling you about very shortly from now. Maples has it all when it even comes to this cold coffee, the caramel, French vanilla, mocha. You can find that in Broadmoor at that store, at that location. And for everybody else, wherever you go, the community coffee program, to where after your 5th cup, you get your next one free. Just get your card punched.
Who didn't like getting stuff free?
Oh, the word itself. I want a necklace that says free.
You don't get many free things in life.
No, you don't. See them today. They'll take care of you. A clean store, anything that you're looking for, from candy bars to sunflower seeds to if you need a great knee-high. You ever had that urge where you just want to drink it and hadn't in years?
Yeah.
They got them for you there.
A little wine right there in the picture.
I'll be done.
I didn't know they had wine.
Yeah, they got that too. See them. Drop in, get you a moon pie and, pizza along with chips. $4.99 for that lunch. Find out more Yeah, do that. Of course, crickets if you're going fishing. And as always, we've got those, well, if you want to be a big winner in the lottery, they sell them every day at all the store locations, including Bonita, Pine Springs, or at the Last Chance Tobacco in Broadmoor Chevron. See them today. It's all there for you. Maple's one-stop shop. They'll take care of you here in the Meridian area.
I'm Janet from Jackson, Mississippi, and it took one call, that was all. I called my Mississippi attorney, Richard Schwartz. He got me $377,250.
If you need me, Mississippi, remember, one call, that's all.
The Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville are passing along these great savings. Fresh tomatoes, 4-pound pack, $1.79. Starkist tuna, 79 cents for a 5-ounce can. Fresh Cuties, a 3-pound bag, only $6.99. 12-pack Coca-Cola products, 2 for $10. Kraft mac and cheese, 7.25 ounce, only $1. And certified Angus beef T-bone steak family pack, $9.99 a pound.
When we're down home, down the street, Piggly Wiggly.
And welcome back with Scotty Ray and Candace. As we've got a few minutes left before this hour is up. Boy, the comments we're getting today, we appreciate that. Prison's just not going to be kind to Josh, LaWanda says.
I would think not. I would think it would not be a good place for him to be.
I wouldn't want to be his cellmate. Which brings to mind that Cletus T. Judd favorite song of mine was "My Cellmate Thinks I'm Sexy." Who remembers that? He's always staring at me. Yeah, it was funny. I don't care who you are.
Oh, my goodness.
As we turn to other headlines across America, remember the story that we gave you yesterday of the lady who had a car wreck in Niagara Falls there?
Yes.
Here's the scene of the car that was in there. We find out today, as we dig deeper in this, she drove into that on purpose. For whatever reason, she wanted to do that. And she did lose her life.
That would be a horrible way to get, why would you purposely?
And we've seen, if you'll go back, all these stories we've seen nationwide where parents will drive their children they, it gives me, you know that old saying that it gives you the willies, stuff like that.
Yeah.
If I wake up thinking about like that, it sends shivers all over me. It almost makes you think, did something just happen somewhere and you just don't know about it, something bad.
Yeah.
That's the way I've always taken things like that. Let's see what's happening. Amtrak, they're going to be cutting back. Why? Well, they don't have enough employees anymore to keep the service going as they really do. They have employees that said, we're not going to take the vaccine, we're not coming to work. So they're going to be cutting back on stops and this, that, and the other nationwide in 22. Maybe all of this will change. It will be worked out. We don't know what the future lies ahead for all these different mandates that are going on.
I would just love to know.
What is in your head that you want to know today?
I want to know why the companies are folding to this. And I know a lot of people, are for it and they think it keeps everybody safe and stuff. And that's one thing.
Well,
that's one thing.
It's okay to take it if you want to.
Right. But why? Why would you jeopardize your business, your company?
I can give you a good reason, just like they done the day before yesterday when they met at the White House and said, we're getting bad press. Go out, make it go away. And they went to all the major networks. And that's what they're doing with company, is sending representatives from the White House going, do this.
Well, my thing is, though, unless you're benefiting in some kind of way, why would you take the chance on damaging your business by losing your employees? Because you can't operate without them.
They're presenting it another way to the companies, going, well, your employees are going to die. You're going to be held responsible if you don't. That's the way they're pitching it to them.
I'm thinking they might be held responsible if something happens, but
again, at the end of the day, as an American, you should have the right to decide.
Right.
As we turn to LA, 500 employees who failed to get vaccinated lost their job with the school district. They fired them. LA, I don't see anything happening out there because they're very liberal. Other parts of the United States, I do see this making its way to the Supreme Court eventually. Good news on this. I agree with this. I say this in saying it took way too long for this to happen. Back in 1985, someone was murdered. It would be this week before they would pay the ultimate price of the execution that they deserve. He became the very oldest person in the United States to be executed, 79 years old. And this is the gentleman there that was put to death there in Oklahoma is where he met his fate. But that's a long time to be in prison from 1985, 15, that's 30-something years. Our judicial system is not speedy by any means, is it?
No, it's not.
But I think it's clogged, and correct me if I'm wrong, by cases that really have no reason to be there to begin with in a lot of times. Or do you
Probably,
just
yeah, probably
people
say.
sue everybody for no reason, and that way you can't get in there when you really need help?
Yeah, I do think there's some frivolous lawsuits, definitely.
boy,
out there.
Coffee, it's hot. Y'all remember that. If you pick it up, it is hot.
That's ridiculous.
You should not sue someone over that.
Right. Or like just calling somebody by the wrong name, or calling, really? I mean, you're going to sue somebody or fire somebody over
LaWanda done the arithmetic to
a mistake.
36 years there. He's been sitting in prison. That's a long time there. So we've got Christmas parades in Collinsville tomorrow. We have learned that Enterprise has moved theirs till Sunday.
Yeah, I did see a comment too where, scroll back up for 1 second, because Cuba Christmas parade for tomorrow has been canceled, and they said it will not be rescheduled. So if anybody has any different information on anything that we've stated, let us know.
Off the fly.
Yeah.
We thank y'all for dropping by and visiting with us. It means a lot. Thanks for the comments. We'll be here all day to let you know what happens.
Be safe.
Scotty Ray's Weather is brought to you by MeTV 24.